I was doing some research, going through my emails and everything like that, and I was watching, I don't know what I'm watching, local news or whatever on the TV, and I heard that arrests were made in the Matthew Perry case, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even, I knew that there were, his autopsy report was a little weird, not something that we'd like to see in an autopsy report, especially when we thought the man was living a sober life. But according to a few minutes ago, I think TMZ may have been breaking it. Several arrests have been made in the Matthew Perry investigation, including at least one doctor, TMZ reports. I also heard that the United States Postal Service is also involved in this. So it sounds like there is possibility of maybe some mailing being associated with this particular case. So I wanted to read a few articles with you. This is just breaking here shortly. Los Angeles arrest made in connection with the overdose death. I hear that there's going to be some type of press conference that's going to be had by the Los Angeles Police Department, potentially, that I've heard from the news. We'll see what's going on there. But an arrest has been made in connection with the death of beloved Friends actor Matthew Perry. Eyewitness News has learned. Few details were immediately available about the arrest. Federal charges have been filed in the case and are expected to be publicly announced at 10 a.m. today, which sounds like this is in LA, so they're 3 hours behind me. So I expect this if it's 10 a.m. Right now it's like 7:30. Is that right? 7:30, so you're like 2.5 hours. We might be able to hear something. Hey, MTB, Sweet Jones, it's nice to see you. We're learning right now that there are federal charges that multiple people have been arrested in connection with Matthew Perry's death. Again, this was out of sight, out of mind. I was not expecting to hear this today. If many of you guys are my age, we all watched Friends together. It was one of the best, I guess, sitcoms that we had of our era. It was something that no matter what, it was always great. There wasn't really a bad show. These were a bunch of nobody actors that kind of came together, and they actually brought each other up. Nobody would get a raise unless they all got a raise, and they were constantly moving up. Every one of those actors in that sitcom went on to do great things. Most notably, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox. She's been in most of the Scream movies. We've known of David Schwimmer being in several different movies. So all the cast members have gone on to do better things. And we knew that during Friends, we could clearly see, if everybody was like me that watched religiously, no matter even the reruns, we would religiously watch. And you could clearly see a decline in Matthew Perry. You could clearly see he lost a lot of weight at, one time, concerning amount of weight. And it sounds like since then he has always struggled, but he's always tried to, he struggled with it, but he always tried to get better. But it just seemed like it's hard because when you have unlimited resources and you have an addiction, and your addiction, wields its ugly head, it's really easy, in my opinion, to kind of fall back. It's got to be a real struggle. Somebody that's down on their luck, that doesn't have two nickels to rub together, when they have something, it's a little different. So it sounds like he was using substances. In my opinion, if he's using ketamine and trying to tell people he's sober, he's probably, there's probably been a lot of times he said he was sober when he wasn't. But few details were immediately available about the arrest. Federal charges have been filed in the case and are expected to be publicly announced 10 a.m. news conference with Attorney General Los Angeles and the DEA officials, ABC News has reported. In June, the investigation into ketamine supplied to Perry before his untimely death in October was nearing its end, and law enforcement sources at the time told ABC News it would be up to the U.S. Attorney's Office to decide if multiple people could be charged as a result. The investigation has been ongoing since Perry's death and included the LAPD Drug Enforcement Administrator, USPS, that's where I say the mailing. It sounds like some of the stuff may have came through the mail, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Perry died October 28, 2023, at the age of 54 after he was discovered unresponsive in his jacuzzi. An autopsy revealed he died from acute effects of ketamine. The autopsy listed drowning, coronary artery disease, and bupropion I don't know what that is. Effects as contributing factors not related to the immediate cause of death. The manner of death was ruled an accident. Perry had high levels of ketamine in his blood, likely lapsed into unconsciousness, and then went underwater, according to the autopsy. Perry was known for playing Chandler Bing in the hit sitcom Friends that ran from 1994 to 2004. Sad. Let's go to TMZ and see what TMZ has to say. Big break in Matthew Perry's death investigation. There have been multiple arrests, including one doctor, TMZ has learned. Law enforcement officials, our sources tell us, multiple law enforcement agencies have executed search warrants and seized computers, phones, and other electronic equipment to determine who supplied Perry with the ketamine that caused him to lose consciousness last October and drown in his hot tub. Perry has been getting ketamine infusion therapy for anxiety and depression, but the last therapy was a week and a half before his death, so the ketamine in his system was not doctor prescribed. TMZ broke the story, and Perry had the same levels of ketamine in his system that is used for general anesthesia in surgery. Wow. Law enforcement sources tell us the ketamine Perry ingested was not legally prescribed, and multiple agencies, including the DEA, U.S. Postal Service, and LAPD, have conducted a criminal investigation for months. We're told at least one doctor has been arrested, along with several dealers who helped arrange the delivery of ketamine to Perry. One source says the search warrant revealed text message discussing Perry and the ketamine he wanted and what they were doing to get it to him. Texts also discuss price the Friends actor would pay for the drug. Sources tell TMZ authorities got a search warrant for Brooke Muller, Charlie Sheen's ex, who has been in treatment center with Perry, but as far as we know, she is not connected to the arrest. In their investigations, authority found other celebs who were involved in the Hollywood drug scheme. TMZ broke the story of Perry's death on October 28th. He was 54 years old. The arrests make it clear authorities are making it a priority to go after doctors and dealers who illegally push drugs. Notably, Ryan Rivas got 11-year sentence as the middleman who delivered the drug laced with fentanyl to Mac Miller, resulting in the rapper's death. So they're starting to go after these people. Nobody, it's kind of hard because, Matthew Perry, in all fairness, did this to himself. I mean, I've struggled with addiction, not this kind of addiction, in my past, and it's a struggle. You got to be very careful, and for him to some people have one clean left in them, but they don't have another relapse, and this is really sad. But in all fairness, this is two parties, the dealers that don't think they're doing anything wrong and don't think that they're harming anybody, and the people that want it that are harming themselves. There's not enough beds for recovery. There just isn't. And what do you do when you have somebody like a celebrity with a drug addiction? They have so many resources. No matter what you do, it's really hard to stop that. They have to be willing and wanting to stop themselves. And sometimes the cravings are just a little too hard, or, they've had access to so much for so long. I don't know. It's just very sad. He was very good at what he did. But it's sad that all the pain that came to him because he did what he loved to do, being a celebrity and being in the limelight, sometimes, people want to do things and they don't realize the costs that come with it. So, anyways, guys, I just thought this was interesting. Well, I'm sure later today, we're going to be finding out who has been arrested and what they are being charged with. I'm very interested in this case. I'm very interested in this case on how they're planning on doing this. Is this just special for celebrities that die, or are all Americans getting this treatment that are dying at the hands of these substances and the dealers that push them? I want to make sure that there's not two tiers of justice here, that you're only going to handle or be subjected to consequences if a celebrity, because it seems like the people that have been arrested and charged in these type of cases were high net worth individuals, as opposed to our mom and pops around here that are losing their children on a daily. Where's their justice? And I just want to keep that forefront. If they can do it for the celebrities, they can do it for the little people too. Just saying. All right, guys, God bless. We'll be back a little later to talk about some Sebastian Rogers and some information and some discussion topics to get us to think about, some information, and maybe give me your perspective on what we will be discussing. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming later this afternoon, and hope to see you all there. God bless.